Moto2 leaves a very exciting race at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, and heads over to the World Circuit of Marco Simoncelli here in Misano for the San Marino Grand Prix and the Rimini Rivera. Daniel Holgado lines up on pole position. He's already had a win this year, but the championship is very dramatic. Let's head down to the grid and Susie.
Holgado is in pole position. Loving life, I think it's fair to say at the moment, sitting 7th in the championship and just kind of embracing everything around him, it seems like, doesn't it?
Yeah, but let's remember back a couple of years when he came into Moto3, he was a rider that the pressure really affected him. He struggled a little bit. He went through that period. I remember he sort of started the season good, battling for the championship, and then he literally did let the whole occasion get to him, and he looks like a different rider.
Yeah,
he's more settled in that Aspar.
He was very young then, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he was only 17 then, so yeah, a couple of years older now. But now he's sat on pole position, and genuinely, he looks relaxed. He knows he's got a good. He knows he can do it. It's that inner belief.
And in a situation, as we were speaking to Paolo Bonora earlier, he was saying so much is about confidence, so much is psychological. You've got to have the right people around you, and what a team he's got around him now. But you've gone for Celle Vietti as your favourite. Is that because of local knowledge, do you think?
Yeah, that little bit of local knowledge, that bit where he's been in the hurt locker at the end of races, when your tyres are gone, with the experience, he knows the pitfalls of this really treacherous, slippy, technical Misano circuit. So, yeah, but I'm picking him, but it's by a fraction. I can't see him running away with it. He's going to have to get he's going to have to take his gloves off, and it's going to be a bare-knuckle fight. That's how I see it, similar to the Moto3 race.
I mean, that Moto3 race was very, very special. Let's hope we get something similar in this. We're looking at the number 7 of Senna Ages, and we can hear from him now. Rachel spoke to him just a little earlier.
Senna, third row for you today, but everything is so close. 0.2 off of pole. Can you make something work from here in this really tight circuit?
Yeah, sure. Starting towards the front is going to help a lot. We put a really good weekend together, like you said, it's so close. So, yeah, it was nearly on the pole position yesterday. Everybody seems to have quite a decent pace, so, yeah, it can be a group, but also the race is long. So, yeah, we're feeling good. We put together a really good weekend, and, yeah, I'm ready for the race.
Great job so far. Good luck.
Sounds race ready. My apologies, we were looking at Barry Baltas earlier, obviously the number 7. Let's talk about Barry then, shall we, from the second row?
Yeah, Barry really strong on the brakes. He's got that riding style where he does make up a lot of time in the corner entry, and he's able to brake really late. And on a track like here, it pays off. You know, there's so many braking zones around here, so many overtaking opportunities. So he's one of those riders that really attack the corner. He's one of those riders that could use as well maybe the harder compound in the front, because he loads that front so much. And he's looking really good, you know, only a 10th of pole position heading the second row.
And on the second row, Diogo Moreira as well. We know he'll have his elbows out.
Yeah, absolutely. We know his talent. We've obviously moving up to MotoGP next year. He's one of the stars of Moto2. And it's these sorts of races where Moreira will need all those skills, because, like Sylvain said, tyre wear is going to come into it. It's going to feel greasy. When you tip in, you're going to have off-throttle slides. But that's what he's very, very skillful at. So Moreira is definitely in the mix for the win.
He's directly behind Manu Gonzalez, who goes from the front row, our championship leader. What a campaign he's put together so far.
Yeah, looking in control, looking strong, but also a lot of pressure, you know, with these guys that have speed. Obviously, Canet had that crash in Barcelona. Sorry, was it in Barcelona? Yeah, and he's feeling a bit hurt, but still really strong, still with the pace. You got Moreira, you know, this year he's been so strong, looking so good on that bike. So yeah, them two, they're going to be fighting it out all the way to the end.
I'm going to throw in an anomaly. Here he is, Tony Arbolino, this season. What's going on? Yesterday, Fabio was talking to him. Obviously, they're really close friends, and he seemed to put in a good qualifying campaign session.
Yeah, he's lost his confidence. He's been sort of... It's the last 18 months, really, that we've seen from him, but obviously a home track for him. Sometimes you just need that one weekend where everything clicks and it just comes a bit more natural and you don't overthink it. So he's got pace. Arbolino starting from 8th, middle of the third row. Start's going to be key as always. That first sector is ridiculously tight, so let's just hope all the riders get through it. So you need a bit of luck on the opening lap when you're starting from the 3rd or 4th row, but I'd really like to see Tony Arbolino get a result, because it's never nice when you're seeing someone that sort of lost a bit of confidence, especially him, because he's such a sparky character, one of the paddock characters.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. As we look at the man in pole position, let's hear what Jake Dixon has got to say.
Jake, looked like you had some great pace throughout the weekend. Obviously, you had a bit of a mistake yesterday, but from where you are and the pace that you did show, are you feeling pretty confident about this one?
Yeah, to be fair, I'm actually really enjoying it here. I made a mistake in qualifying yesterday. On my fastest lap as well, I just run off the end of the curb and it cost me a 10th, but it is what it is. We've got good pace, I'm going to get stuck in, and yeah, I can't wait to have it in this one.
Give us another podium to get excited about. Good luck.
What should happen at the start of the race for Jake? How should he play this?
He has to be aggressive. Because of ending up on the 3rd row of the grid. He's been caught up in incidents in that first sector before. I remember in previous years, I think 2 years on the bounce. So that sometimes can sit in the back of your mind. But yeah, I know I've said this line before, but it's the reality of those opening laps around those tight sections. It's pass or be pass. And that's one thing we know Jake's very good at. All through his Grand Prix career, he's always been aggressive. He's one of a rider that will go forward. He knows that. He sounded confident then, didn't he? He knows he's got the race pace, so he's up for it. And yeah, I think he's going to put on a show.
Let's find out if Barry Baltus thinks that he has got the race pace.
Barry, 10 places ahead of where you started just a week ago. Much better starting point for this. We know what happened there. How are you feeling ahead of this one? What kind of pace can we expect to see from you?
Well, we are pretty strong since Friday morning. Yesterday's the race pace was quite fast, so yeah, we try to get profit of the 2nd row and try to make some nice move and enjoy in the front during this race, and yeah, fight in the front.
Have a good one, thank you.
Intention there from Barry Baltus. What about David Alonso? He's got to go from the 4th row. He's had a win around, you know, as a rookie, which is very difficult in Moto2. He can see his teammate just in this purple patch. What does he need to do in this race to launch himself forward?
Just need to carry on what he's doing, because, you know, his peloton part race was just, I mean, the comeback, the 2nd part of the race was really impressive. So the way he was able to manage the tire degradation was great. And he did that in Barcelona, again, starting from far, but really coming back strong. So yeah, I think he's still got a good race in him here, Alonso. It's going to be a bit tough, because from 11th, you will lose quite a bit of time in those first tight corners, and by the end of lap 1, if he hasn't got a great start, there will be a gap, and he will need, you know, a lot more pace to come back, and that means you need to push more on the tires and use them more. But we know he's a very strong finisher, so I still think David Alonso, obviously, he's going to be inspired by his teammate that's on pole position, and he's going to want to try and get him.
Shots of Izan Guevara, who's going from 13th, heading the 5th row of the grid. The temperature is soaring now. We were worried about the track temperature earlier being lower than it had been all weekend, but it seems as though it's there or thereabouts now, Nick.
Yeah, back into the window what they've had all weekend. So it's quite nice when you sat on the grid. If the temperature comes up a bit, you're like, right, we don't have to worry about, let's say, slight colder tearing with the tyres. I know it sounds ironic because it's not cold, but do you know what I mean? And the setting, the base setting of the bike, it is set for these conditions. So I'm intrigued to know who Sylvain's going for. Who are you going for, Sylvain?
I am going to... This is a really tough one. I'm going to go for Barry Baltus.
Okay.
Wildcard, I'm Vietti.
Yeah, and you're Vietti.
Susie.
All right. The first offering was incredible from Moto3, and Moto2 is about to start place. Danny Holgado is in pole position. Michael's alongside Gav.
Yeah, his rookie season just keeps getting better and better, doesn't it? Poland win in Barcelona, Poland a new lap record pace at Misano. But Celestino Vietti and championship leader Manuel Gonzalez right there alongside him on the front row trying to stop him.
Moto3 is about to commence the commensal as we get Moto2 is about to get underway here at the Grand Prix of San Marino and the Rimini Rivera. Here's how they line up on the grid then. It's Daniel Holgado, Francesco Vietti and Manuel Gonzalez, Barry Baltus, Alan Canet, Diego Moreira, Senna Igas alongside Tony Arbolino and Jake Dixon, Albert Arenas, David Alonso, Amon Sasaki, Isaac Guevara, Alonso Lopez, Adrian Huetas, Sonta van der Gerberg, Daniel Munoz. Then we get Philip Salak, Ivan Altola, Colin Via, Jorge Navarro, Marcos Ramirez, Mario Argi, RSS Gray, Joe Roberts down in 25th position. Disastrous qualifying for him. Alberto Sura, down Binder, Alberto Fernandez, Unai Orado and Yuki Kuni, the 30 maximum out riders as they head off on the parade lap here around the San Marino circuit for this 22-lap Grand Prix of San Marino.
Mark Gonzalez, championship leader. You know, Aaron Canet and Moreira need to fight back. Dixon's had perhaps the best pace of anyone, but he starts row 3. It's a tough one to call after looks like a horrible problem for Adrian Huertas. He'll have to start from pit lane.
Yeah, it's a shame for Huertas. He's going to hopefully get the starters on it and get out at the back of the field. But yeah, as you mentioned, difficult to call this weekend. Holgado, obviously, pole man. Coming off his recent victory in Barcelona, he's going to be fired up. But Gonzalez looking sensational again this weekend. Vietti, what he did round here last year, you've got to say, perhaps he will rise to the occasion at home. But yeah, there's I think another 5 riders are probably named Jake Dixon, Diogo Moreira, Arbolino, Aegis, all looking fast this weekend, and Alonso coming forward as well. Yeah,
Arbolino got 2 podiums here a year ago. The Bosco-Scuro frame being ridden by the likes of Vietti and Arbolino and Dixon back on that 3rd row. That won both of the races that we had here last year with Ayagura and Chele Vietti. So it is a tough one to call. Times are tight. Does that mean we get a barnstorming race?
Not always, unfortunately. Sometimes when the gaps at the front are, what, 2/10 separate in the top 10, it sometimes means that everyone's just on qualifying lap after qualifying lap, and it can stretch it out a little bit. But let's hope we're wrong. Let's hope today it breaks the script a little bit from what we've seen in Moto2 when we get this scenario, and it is a fight this man needs to go for it in terms of the championship race. 38 points down at the moment. He's had a tough-ish weekend after his crash in Barcelona, but yeah, he's in there fighting on the 2nd row.
Yeah, he's been feeling a little bit second-hand since that crash on Sunday. Took him to hospital in Barcelona. Enjoying that day more than anyone was Danny Olgado, and he's doubled down with a 2nd pole in back-to-back races here in Misano, rising to the occasion. Home hero Chele Vietti alongside him on the front row with the championship leader Manuel Gonzalez in
third position on the grid. Here we go then, it's time, 22 laps ahead of us for the Moto2 Grand Prix of San Marino. Safety car at the back, red flag will get taken away. Holgado, Vietti and Gonzalez down to turn 1, green flag is given. Who's going to have the launch down to the first corner? Eyes to the lights then, here we go, red lights on, lights out, we're underway, it's a good start immediately from Giustino Vietti, and he's jumped Holgado down to turn 1, poor getaway actually, coming in from Manuel Gonzalez. Senna Higas makes 3 places up into turn 1, there's one of them going wide and cutting off the exit curve and just gets back on the circuit okay. Can't tell who that was, I'm sure we'll find out shortly. I believe it was Mario Argi, and as well going back, it's the lead of the race for Giustino Vietti. Huertas has started this race from the pit lane as they turn in once more. Dixon up to 9th, Aaron Cadet's down 5 places. So it wasn't in the overall run as they come through. But 22 to go as they approach turn number 8 for the first time. It's Vietti in the lead of the race, coming in from Holgado, Moreira, then Gonzalez, Senna Higas up 2 places, Tony Alberino now moving up a place as well as Joe Roberts going down, RSS going down. So the whole field now, Navarro dropped back massively. The entire field now just trying to capitalise on where they need to be as we complete now the first sector times coming through here in what has been a chaotic, crazy and bizarre race. They continue to improve as they turn through into turn 14, the nice inside section of the circuit. Vietti leading this race. And I think now it's safe to say we might be just in the holding pattern for a little bit. The Pirelli tyres need to take their time and just lift off ever so carefully. But it's a good run. It's a better run in total as 3 riders look further back as well to go side by side. But okay, race 1 is looking better already. As Navarro gets that long lap penalty, so does Sura on the 67, both getting long laps and a double long lap for Sura as well. Vietti leading the race as they continue to charge through. Lap 1 complete.
What a start it was from clean first set of corners, and yeah, it looks like he's already trying to get his head down.
Through 4 and 5 out of Rio corner onto the middle straight. through the kink at turn 6. I say kink, it's a fast corner, running them onto the straight. Dixon's already made up 3 spots from his early problem that he had on that opening lap. It'd be good to see what happened there, because he got really messy in the first few corners. Canet lost position, and then looked like there was contact coming out of turn 6, just where we were. And as I say, it's a fast part of the racetrack.
Yeah, the direction changed from 5 to 6. It did look like something happened with Arenas Canet, and obviously that did hamper Jake's run onto the straight. So it's hurting things for Jake at the moment, down in 15th, and yeah, a long way to get back to the podium battle from there.
Yeah, let's focus on what we've got up front with Celestino Vietti trying to pull away. He was victorious last time we came here. That was in a week later in September last year, the second of 2 races at Misano as a replacement for Kazakhstan in its time. A long time ago now, doesn't it? This was the opening lap. So look behind, look at Arenas. Oh, just out of shape, and then Dixon. Oh, actually, it looks all self-inflicted, perhaps. Yeah. That's where he crashed, of course, yesterday in qualifying. So, apologies.
Oh no, self-inflicted. Yeah. Assisted by Aaron Canet.
We were right first time. Yeah. Okay, I'll take that apology back now.
Yeah, going 2-2. It is one of those turns where you keep the throttle open slightly, just building the momentum onto the middle back straight. Well, yeah, collision from Canet. He's wanting to find his way through.
Yeah, he'd obviously not had the greatest of starts from the second over Greg Canet, and was aggressive and just making contact with the inside of Dixon's machine. Right, we go on board with Moreira. He's all over the back here of Olgado. They just want to keep Vietti in check. That's going to be wide from Daniel Olgado. You can go deeper and recover, though, down into La Quercia. But I feel like Moreira is going to want to get through on Olgado before too long. Now, what we've seen from Olgado is he will have pace middle part of the race. That's what we learned, didn't we, in Barcelona? We thought he was dropping off, and suddenly it all came back to him back in Barcelona.
Yeah, for a rookie, he's very good at controlling what pace he needs to put into the tyres. It is super softs here this weekend on the rear, the entire field going for it, so I don't anticipate a huge drop like we had in Barcelona, where it was really a case of managing both front and rear tyres. This weekend the soft options front and super soft rear are the choice of the day, but yeah, all riders saying the grip is really good here in Moto2 this weekend, so no issues, no tyre management. Yeah, you can push on all 22 laps.
On board we ride, was that with Barry Baltus?
Yeah.
Looking at the rear of Senna Ages' bike, couldn't quite get a handle on who we were on with. Adrian Wertz's day goes from bad to worse. Pit lane start, and now he's had a crash, and in a fast part of the circuit, Michael, look,
Lot of gravel.
It's been to the beach, that bike.
Yeah, you've got to be careful re-entering the track with that amount of gravel falling out of the top of the fair end. But yeah, the marshals will obviously pull him aside if that is the case. But Huertas, horrible day, stalling on the grid, restarting the machine from pit lane, starting the race, and then a crash, which, as you mentioned, looked like a fast part of the racetrack. But yeah, some good news though for Huertas, re-signed for the Italtrans team next season, so he will go again and get a second crack at it next year.
And he forms a partnership with Danny Munoz, who in this race, after his podium last time, is just behind.
We've added to our battle screen here in the commentary box now the championship standings, as Gonzalez, of course, is 39 clear as it stands to Diego Moreira on the timing graphic. So we thought it might help you back at home witness some of the action and help out a little bit for the standings.
Gonzalez, the second between them. But good to see Aegis back, because just a couple of weekends when it's looked that little bit tougher for Aegis. We're expecting more from him in Barcelona.
Yeah, I think obviously the crash in Austria did hamper him. He sat out a weekend. Sergio Garcia jumped on the bike, returned to form. It looked like in Barcelona, but it was a tough-ish race for him. But yeah, perhaps still feeling the effects of the crash in Austria. But certainly looking back at the match this weekend.
Two big boys do battle, don't they, with Senna Aegis and Barry Baltus. And Baltus gets the better of Senna on this occasion. I think Barry feels like he's got that bit more pace than the Australian, and he's got through on him.
Yeah, Barry's had good pace again this weekend. He's one that sort of went away a little bit over the last couple of rounds. Barry had a fantastic season, or has had a fantastic season, 4th in the championship. Then it was just a little dip after those 2 runner-up positions in Germany and the Czech Republic. It was a 7th, a 12th, a 10th. So yeah, his scorecard dropped a little bit, but back on form here in Misano.
At the front, it's bunched up again, I'm pleased to see. And this is the thing, I think the early laps of Dani Olgado was the same, wasn't it, in Barcelona, where he was just a little bit circumspect. And now it's all bunched up, and it looks like they've all found their pace.
Yeah. Similar to last week, though, in terms of the championship race for... I'd say Gonzalez will be watching Moreira more than Canet at the moment. Obviously, 38 points he's got over Canet, but only 42 on Diogo. So Diogo's probably the bigger threat in Gonzalez's side at the moment. And they're in the lead group, those four. And then, obviously, Canet's in there battling in 9th. But, yeah, he's got some work to do.
I don't want to sound cruel, Michael. I'm on board. We're on board here with Aaron Canet. But the last 7 days have, to me, told me why Aaron Canet isn't going to be in MotoGP, why he isn't going to get that opportunity, as in... There are big crashes. He hurts himself. You know, he just puts himself. It's just inconsistencies.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, I think it is. It's fair. It's tough on the assessment of Aaron Canet because he's a quality rider.
Absolutely.
But
there's no doubting that.
You look at his copybook over the years, and there are just one too many incidents at the wrong time in his career, and it may cost him the championship this year. He's had a few big injuries, big crashes, and yeah, tough cookie. Obviously fights it back every time on Sunday.
I mean, it's as fast as anyone on his day. That's the thing. Unfortunately, look at the season Gonzalez is putting together, and that's what a MotoGP team is looking for, isn't it? They aren't necessarily looking for how many wins you're taking. It's the consistency, the way you go about it.
Yeah, but if you speak to Manu Gonzalez and his manager Eddie Ravelli, yes, that is what the MotoGP teams in theory are looking for, but they didn't quite want it this year, so he feels slighted a little bit to be passed over for the man in front, the number 10 Diogo Moreira, but Diogo perhaps just a little bit younger and showing a little bit more potential, maybe, but yeah, Gonzalez's season's been fantastic.
A bit more exciting, though? Bit more untapped potential that people might feel there?
Exactly, yeah, and there's been a lot of talk over the years from, obviously, Diogo's peers. He trains and rides with a lot of MotoGP riders, and they've always talked about how good and talented this kid is, and he's now starting to show over the second half of this season. So we haven't had the announcement, but the move to MotoGP, I think it is deserved for Diogo, and I would be frustrated if you're in Manu Gonzalez's shoes. You completely understand that he's not happy. He looks the champion-elect at the moment, but yeah, passed over for the GPC.
Be another opportunity at least for Gonzalez, whereas even if, for me, if Canet had a stellar of the year and he's going to join the Mark BDS team next year and he was battling for the championship, I still think, because of how long it's taken him to get there, I still think that the offers might not come in MotoGP, because there are only a couple of seats available. There's probably only going to be a couple more in 27 when the change of format happens in MotoGP. Whereas I think Gonzalez will have a shot again next year.
Yeah, I do completely agree. I think when the reshuffle happens, he's certainly putting his CV at the top of the pile. This is better for Arbolino this weekend. Good to see him in the mix in terms of the group battle. Good qualifying. Looks like he's going to back it up with a good race. And it's been a few rounds since he's been ahead of his teammate, Izan Guevara. He's been the lead rider in that team.
To get the bike picked up early then, didn't he, coming out of Tremonto? It might put him a little bit of peril here with Canet running right in behind him, because he just on exit he will have had to roll the throttle ever so slightly, got on it maybe a touch too early. The rear...
Oh, Marcos Ramirez, track limits penalty, a long lap coming now.
Yeah.
Canet now under pressure, does it on the inside, Tony Arbolino, and Canet goes 7th.
Canet smelt blood in the water. Seeing a little moment from Arbolino and just set it up, run through Carboni. It was lovely to have the onboard shots there. Just see how he backshifted, turned a little bit tighter through 13 and set up the move down the inside at turn 14. Cleanly done, and he's already gapping Arbolino a little bit here in those turns 15 and 16.
Into turn 1 we go. We are 7 down, 15 to go. Still Vietti leads, as he has done from the off.
Shortcut to
like the Italjet livery.
Yeah.
A little bit different for Arenas than we've always seen the San Marino style livery, the old Team Italia when we come here. But yeah, with the the Italjet branding on the side, it is a little bit different this year for Arenas and the Pricini Moto2 squad.
Oh, RTV pictures have gone off up here in the commentary box. That's not ideal.
G. Scalvini, remember?
G. Scalvini, yeah.
That is one for the...
Nope, okay, it's gone for, it's done for. We're pressing buttons to see if he'll come back.
Down towards Tramonto. Arenas now has got through. It looked like Arbolino just labouring a touch, wasn't he, at the front of that group. This is a little private battle now going on between Moreira and Gonzalez. Gonzalez, you can just see in the slipstream picking up some pace as we go through 13 into turn 14 now. Gonzalez just needs to bide his time. This is all right in terms of championship. I've got mine, what he perhaps would consider his main title rival now. I know he's 42 behind, Canet 38 behind, but I think in terms of form, Moreira's the one that you're looking closely at, although had a really off weekend back in Barcelona.
Yeah, he's had two this year, really. Brno was a tough weekend following the incident in Germany, and again, just never arrived in Barcelona, but he is set to gain the second spot in the championship race today if things finish as they currently stand. And I do think he's building over these last 6 races after this weekend. There's a challenge in the mix for Diogo. He's got to steal a few points off of this man chasing him, Manu Gonzalez. But see how Gonzalez has his bike turning. Turns 4 to 5, it just turns a little bit tighter. It's easier, not taking as much out of the tyres, gives him the run down the straight. Could have made the overtake if he'd have wanted, but yeah, you can see the little gap up front as well.
It's closing.
He may look for a move on Diogo before too long.
Yeah, well, Gardo has now pulled 9/10 of a second here on Moreira. The thing is, Moreira is not an easy rider to pass. Gonzalez, we are only on board. We can only see from the front of his bike. I'm sure I can hear him thinking. I'm sure I can hear him thinking every single time. Is there? Yeah, I'm just gonna hold firm for the moment. He'll want to get through, won't he?
Yeah.
Because he'll want to win this race if he can. But Moreira is a tough nut to crack. Little squirt. Yeah, it was coming, wasn't it?
I think he's too deep though. Cut back.
And Moreira let him know that he was coming back through. You saw it from the overhead shot. Perhaps looked a little bit more dramatic than from on board the bike. But Moreira saw that move from Gonzalez. You saw him lining it up, Gonzalez, as well.
It's an aggressive cutback, though, because he didn't hesitate. He really gunned it up the inside, which sometimes if the rider turns a little tighter than you anticipate, it means you take out their handlebar and you could wipe the rider out. But yeah, Diogo confident that he wasn't going to make contact. It was clean, obviously, but yeah, there is always a risk factor there on a cutback at a tight turn, first gear at Carroll Corner.
But that shot even there down into turn 3, you can see how Gonzalez's bike is. We had a little moment there, but it's turning better.
Yeah, that's what most of the Moto2 riders level against Gonzalez just say. The bike turns when he throws it into the turn. That angle, it just seems to make a better radius and just pick it up onto the acceleration part of the tyre. Oh, we got a little bit close to Diogo in the braking zone there.
How is he doing that then? What's he doing? What's the setup? What's the difference maker there?
There will be an element of the rider. Oh, yeah, he's deep in there, but the rider plays a part in it as well. How his inputs are, where his body position is. But yeah, a lot of it could be set up in terms of head angle, fork height, fork set, and just something to give him the feeling from the front end. And it is WP suspension in there, which is different to the machine in front. So obviously you got to give credit to the guys there at WP suspension making the difference over the last few years.
Yeah, they've worked hard, haven't they, WP? Not the necessarily always the suspension of choice. They are, though, for KTM family, for everyone involved in that. And Dynovolt, Intact, GP have been in bed effectively with the KTM factory over recent years. Them and the Aspar team too, as Gonzalez comes through. And it feels like actually now it might be the one to be on actually in the Moto2 class.
Yeah, it's certainly an argument to say it's well, at least as good. That was close there on the inside curve, but it's going to be a fight back for Diogo. This is allowing Baltus and Senna Aegis to join the party.
There we are, Bastianini on Martin, or Moreira on Gonzalez. Very, very similar, although Gonzalez knew he was coming, allowed Moreira the room, and because he knew if he didn't, he'd skittled out. So Moreira reclaims third spot, but now the gap is up to 2.4 seconds, and this could be costing Gonzalez race. That's a really late pass that is from Gonzalez. Will run wide. Moreira will make him, make him eat the paint on the outside of the circuit there.
You called it earlier, Gav. He's a hard nut to crack, Diogo Moreira. Manu's getting frustrated here. You can see he's just trying at every opportunity. You can see Holgado and Vietti, they're 1.8 seconds up the track, and he feels that he can match them. But yeah, Diogo's not laying down. Oh, a little
Wow.
moment off the curbs.
And that means Baltus will come through too, and almost lost another position to Senna Aegis. The head got a wobble on there for Diogo Moreira, and unfortunately for him, he's lost 2 positions in the process.
Yeah, as you step off the curb, you need to use the curb on entry to widen the Carbone corner. It's a funny corner because it's so fast on approach, you have to be precise, but what can happen, as we just seen from Diogo, if the bike just moves ever so slightly, it can go into a big pump. He done well to roll out of it, but yeah, it just cost him those 2 positions.
Anyway, back now from here, or is Aegis going to get through on him? Hasn't looked comfortable at the start of this race.
Baltus running down in the order now, as well as we ride with him.
On board with Baltus, that closed him fast, didn't it, with Gonzalez in front.
Good to see Barry back on form after a tough weekend in Barcelona. He's had to work hard to get across to this group. Yeah, the number 7 machine of the tall Belgian. He's had a good season and looks set to be confirmed again with the Fantic Racing team in 2026. A well-deserved second season with that squad. Looks like Arbolino will join him. Obviously, Canet announced that he will go to Mark VDS and ride a Bosco chassis next season.
There is Diogo Moreira in 5th place. Senna Aegis, the Aussie, behind him. And then a 4-second gap back to Aaron Canet, Tony Arbolino, Guevara, and David Alonso, who is now past Albert Arenas. David Alonso working on second half of the race, but will be frustrated that he is 8-9 seconds down on his teammate Danny Olgado.
Not easy for Alonso to take when you see the form that Holgado's shown. The last 2 weekends he's been outstanding, the class act of the field as a rookie. Alonso did take his victory in Hungary, but yeah, Danny Olgado, he's really stepped up to the plate in Aspar colours this season. Yeah,
Olgado's, for the first time, the gap's over half a second, Michael. It's been hovering around the 0.3, 0.4 mark. Now 0.6, the gap between Vietti and Olgado. And Olgado with a track limits warning hanging over his head. Here comes Baltus on Gonzalez down into Rio corner, turn 4. And the way he passed as well allowed Gonzalez no way back to defend. In fact, there was a little front wobble for Gonzalez. So the Belgian comes through. Good to see. You know, it's a return to form, isn't it, for Baltus? A return to form to Vietti, who's leading in this race. One of those kind of seasons where the only person putting it together week in, week out, really, is Manu Gonzalez.
Yeah, always there, and it's how Ayagura won his title last year. On his bad days, being inside the top 5, and that's what Manu's able to do right now. Yeah, very consistent. And even Diogo's had those couple of off weekends. Obviously, we talk a lot about Gonzalez's consistency, and a couple of non-scores for him, no fault of his own in Austria with the stone through the radiator, and then earlier in the season, the wrong tyre choice in America, and then
which Moreira did as well.
And Diogo did, yeah, that's right. And then Silverstone, the collision with the man in front, Barry Baltus, they both ended up on the deck. But yeah, overall, he's been there every session, every qualifying, and every race day, and that's so important. It does, yeah, sets himself up in terms of the championship, but still a ways to go. 25 points on offer today. That was green paint, wasn't it, for Senna?
Yeah, for Senna. Go on board here with Diogo Moreira. I wonder, with Gonzalez in front of him, is there any way for Moreira to get the hooks into his title rival once more? Moreira's got to see this as a personal battle between himself and Gonzalez, doesn't he? Just try and get in front of the Spaniard at any cost. Out front, Celestino Vietti. We haven't seen him for ages now in this race, but I can tell you the gap is opening up to 9/10 of a second.
If you could untap the Celestino Vietti we're seeing today, that we've seen in Austria every weekend, he would be phenomenal. But it is one of those things that sort of been a hallmark of his Moto2 career so far. Ultra fast one weekend, off at the next. Boy, he's got the bike on the move. I was watching him in the overhead shots, and he just seems like he's full attack mode at the moment, trying to stretch out the gap, and he's doing just that. Got it over a second at the moment, 1.1 at the second intermediate split.
Yeah, remarkably, we've had all those different winners, 8 different winners this year in Moto2, and Vietti's not one of them.
Certainly set to change that today. A ways to go yet, 8.5 laps remaining, but he's on form this weekend. Obviously, a rider who practices and tests here a lot, with the VR46 Academy.
Marco Bezzecchi said they only come here 3 times a year.
Yeah.
What was that, Neil Hudson, in the back of the commentary box? Like you didn't believe it. That's what he said to us.
Yeah, the man who won the sprint yesterday, the man who's leading the Moto2 race comfortably at the moment. They have no advantage from Misano's circuit and the practicing that they do here with the VR46 Academy. It's obviously clear, it's quite evident that they love this place and they do work hard around here. And it pays dividends for them, and the teams take profit of that when they arrive. And they know they've got this circuit figured out so well, know what they would need from the setup to get the lap time, to get the race rhythm.
Just further back, Canet 7th, Arbolino in 8th, 9th for Isan Guevara and David Alonso. Is he going to attack Guevara? That got a little bit on the move, didn't it?
Yeah, a little bit squirrely on the brakes, but the skill of the man, David Alonso, stopped the bike with no threat whatsoever. He is comfortable riding really close to the machine in front.
Colombian not able to match his teammate again this weekend. Of course, Daniel Holgado, 7th in the championship, is the rookie of the year as things stand. Alonso is nearest challenger. Holgado's on 112, Alonso on 76 points. Here we go then. Senna Aegis finally able to level Moreira.
Finally.
And Moreira won't want to be on the outside there.
Well, that's taken a while to get through as well, but Senna gets through on into 4th position. Vietti leading by 1.6 seconds to Holgado. What has been a remarkably uneventful Moto2 race. It's not really been what we have in front, but look at that. Gonzalez leads Canet by 42 points now in the riders' standings, as you can see alongside us on the screen here.
He's done well, though.
That's where it happened in Tramonto, and Moreira just turned over the top of him.
Yeah, they toughed it out side by side all the way up the back straight, through the fast kick at turn 11.
Gave each other room.
Yeah.
Good racing. So Aegis through and doing his teammate a solid there. All edges. Manuel Gonzalez, that little bit closer to the... For him, it's the 50-point mark. That's what he'll see as his next buffer that he needs over the likes of Moreira and Canet.
Does that last move mean that Moreira won't step up into 2nd in the championship? At the moment, Canet just 1 place behind, 6th and 7th. Yeah. They are 4 points separating those two.
As he's dropped back in this race, he'll stay in 3rd in the championship. There we have it, confirmation. Gap at 42 to Canet, 45. The reason we talk about the 50-point mark, or even the 25-point mark, we are heading into some races. Japan, it can rain. Indonesia, we've had some awful rain. If Gonzalez has one of his off days in rain, Phillip Islands, Malaysia, you know,
all 4 could be wet.
They are, you know, unpredictable at the best of times. And so what Manuel Gonzalez is to have something in his back pocket, to have a bit of a buffer. 25 points, great. That if you've got that, you can have a race off. If you can have 2 of those, where you can have 2 no scores, then suddenly life becomes a lot easier, because you hope for no scores. But that's easier said than done.
Yeah, it just allows you the comfort blanket of another green paint. You can see a shake of the head for Senna.
I was Aegis not got track limits warning. I've seen about 6 on this lap.
It's coming. Yeah, he shook the head. He knew he'd made that mistake. And yeah, he will pay the penalty. You'll see it come up beside his name before too long, I would imagine.
I'm sure I've seen 3 over the last couple of laps. Oh, there it is, right on cue. Pops up, Senna Aegis track limits warning, yeah. Jake Dixon has just fallen back behind Sasaki and Daniel Munoz. So it just shows, doesn't it, in Moto2, you get in the pack, you might have the pace of the leaders, and he did, didn't he, in terms of practice this weekend. But you get in the pack, you get pushed wide, and your race changes.
It's difficult. Look at Barry Baltus. He's trying to come back here for Danny Holgado. He's made some serious ground on him as well. But yeah, that is the thing about Moto2, as you mentioned. We looked at Jake's pace all weekend. Seemed like he had cracked it here. And Misano is not a track he's typically had a lot of success at. Not enjoyed it so much over the years, but it looked like he had it cracked. And bad start, bad first lap in terms of the moment at turn 5 after Canet went under him, and it's just mired him in the pack, and it is tough. He wouldn't have been expected to be battling behind Danny Munoz and Sasaki in this race after a good weekend last weekend in Barcelona.
What's Bazar had for breakfast?
Hey.
because suddenly he's closing rapidly on Holgado.
Yeah, he's taken half a second a lap out of Vietti. He's took 0.8 of a second out of Holgado. It is the super soft tyre, and somehow Baltus is able to make these tyres last, but with his riding style being ultra aggressive. He's loose, he's fast, he takes liberties, and yeah, he's making it work. Well, we got 5 laps to go. Could Barry Baltus steal this one?
There is Vietti out front, 2.3 seconds now back to Holgado. It's Holgado losing pace to Vietti, but then Baltus 6/10 quicker than Holgado. There you can see that. He was 3/10 quicker than Vietti. Probably not enough for Vietti at the moment, but who knows how the tyres go on these last few laps here.
Yeah, you would imagine the team will be able to signal Vietti and give him a warning, but yeah, it looks like at the moment Baltus has definitely got the pace over everyone.
Keep an eye on the left-hand side of Danny Holgado's tyres. Looks like maybe a bit of banding. I thought I saw some on the right of... oh, actually, no, it was left of Vietti's earlier on in the race, so that's just something for us to keep an eye on. And you can see it all bunching up here now with Gonzalez. He's clinging on, isn't he, now, in front of Angels?
Yeah, the left side of the tyre doesn't get much work around here, so that would be like a cold tear banding. And it's surprising to say cold tear when we got 26 degrees of ambient, probably high 30s on the track, but it can happen.
Hang on.
Oh, let's have a see. Try and...
Yep, track temperature is at 30 degrees Celsius, air temperature 26, 10 km/h wind speed, as you can see on our timing monitors up here in the commentary booth. But the battle is just brewing again and again and again, time and time, with 4 laps to go. Celestino Vietti leading the race, finally on course for a win for the first time in ages.
Vietti as well. This isn't over. 2.5 seconds. He's took a full second out of the leader here.
Here we go.
Yeah, look at the left side.
Baltus, who has never won a Grand Prix before, just turns underneath him.
Yeah, you can see the left side of Holgado's tyre on that camera from Baltus Bike. It just looks like it's completely tore on the left shoulder. So, yeah, he's got no grip, no turning. That will hurt him so much in these last few laps.
And I'm sure I'd seen that for Vietti earlier as well. Now, Gonzalez is now behind Moreira, so it's all changed all of a sudden. This race is not done, ladies and gentlemen. 3.5 laps to go, and Barry Baltus has got 2.5 seconds to Vietti in front. He took 9/10 out of him on the last lap. 2.6, right, divided by 3 laps and 0.9 a lap. That is crossing the line, and Baltus is alongside him.
Yeah, I love it.
Or in front of him, even. Here we go. This is crunch time in this race.
I said earlier in the race that tyre drop, oh look, boys jumping the curb as they enter it, that tyre degradation wasn't going to be an issue here, but I didn't count on tyre banding from a cold left side, and that's where Barry actually being bigger, being a little bit more aggressive with it, it will work it and keep it in that temperature range.
And Senna Aegis,
yeah.
You know, the front lot, he's one of the fastest at the moment. He's also coming forward, and Gonzalez just cannot.
It just looked like he could not turn it in, whether that's a front tyre for him, giving him some issues.
But just riding around the outside of him there, Moreira in the left-hand side. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there with Gonzalez, but Vietti now, he needs to respond here. He did on that last lap.
Yeah, he's responded. He's up the ante in the middle 2 sectors. I think he's got the signal on his pit board.
Just look at his rear tyre, though.
Can't
see the marking.
Yeah.
So what has Baltus got here on that number 7? He's had second places in Spain, in France. He had a second in Germany, a second in the Czech Republic. Is it going to be another second to add to his collection? Or is there possibly a chance that Barry Baltus could win his first race? Behind, Senna Aegis is sniffing the podium, as is Diogo Moreira. Because Danny Holgado is coming back to them at a rate of knots.
I just think it's a stretch too far for Baltus at the moment. He needs Vietti to drop even more.
Well, he's taken 3/10 out of him in the first half of the lap. We'll keep a close eye on that. It's going to be the last couple of corners, perhaps, that might cost Celestino Vietti. We will see. All the third sector is all right-hand, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's when we get into those 2 left-handers of 15 and 16.
Yeah, sector 4 hurts. Obviously, sector 1 as well, as you exit turn 6 onto the middle straight.
And this is it for Aegis and Moreira. Here we go then. 2 laps remaining for Celestino Vietti. What's the gap across the line? 4/10 out of him. You think he's got enough of a buffer here. The gap down to 1.9.
He's got the bit between his teeth here, Barry Baltus. He can just see Celestino coming back towards him.
And you also feel like Barry is pushing in every corner, don't you?
Well, the gap now 1.8 seconds. Baltus is just flying out there.
But you almost wonder if overriding that little bit, knowing that he can close the gap. 2/10 in the first sector.
Yeah, he's throwing the kitchen sink at it. Once you get it under a second, although he's only got a lap and a half remaining, he just needs another lap or two.
And you can just see that trophy in front of him in the front.
He's crawling! He's crawling
down into La Quercia corner. Oh, this would be a miraculous victory if he were to do it from here. Celestino Vietti just has to manage it. Another 3/10 in that second sector. How's he got back to Manuel Gonzalez? What's happened there for ages? There's been a big moment. I think him and Moreira might have come together here.
Yeah, there's been contact.
Yeah, that's a big old drop in time for Senna on that lap. So, yeah, some issue somewhere.
He's just lost like 2 seconds all of a sudden. Oh, he's got out off on the high part of the curb. And he couldn't get it stopped. That was on the curb.
Yeah. Yeah, tricky into there. We've seen it. Catch riders out in the past. Raul Fernandez in Moto2. His championship winning crash, potentially, was.
Vietti in the third sector has stretched it. I wonder if Baltus pushing. He needs to focus his pushing on the left-handers, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Here comes Gonzalez on Senna Aegis. Don't come together, you two. Senna has got a track limits warning hanging over his head.
Munoz too.
Gonzalez turns underneath him. They are side by side across the line.
Last lap.
Diogo Moreira, meanwhile, is hunting down Danny Olgado.
Gonzalez right at the back as we now see Vietti holding off Baltus. Vietti hasn't won since Malaysia last year. He's on course for his first win in so long. Whether or not that'll hold off, I don't know, but they're in the sectors now as we open up the battle between Senna Aegis and Manuel. No, this is Holgado and Moreira. Battle for fourth still brewing as Diego Moreira is going to go to the inside line. He's going to try and capitalise on the inside line here of Holgado, who outbrakes. So battle for fifth now brewing on our screens. Well, this race is just being another absolute barnstormer. It's giving us everything we wanted and everything we didn't know would happen in the Moto2. It's been a bit dull, not going to deny it, but it's starting to come into its own right now. You're starting to see the differential between it, and you can respect the differences. Celestino Vietti is going to hold off by about a second to Barry Baltus as he comes out the last corner for the first time this year since Malaysia last year. Celestino Vietti is a Grand Prix winner in Moto2. The hips go up over the line. He's the winner. Vietti, winner again in Moto2. Barry Baltus finishes in second place. Holgado is third. Diego Moreira in fourth. Senna Aegis goes in fifth position as well. What a brilliant race. Too late for Barry, but that was energetic at the end, and I think that was the critical time that everybody was wanting. A nice end to the race and a nice end to everything overall. Vietti got the fastest lap at the end of it as well. Look what he does to the points-paying standings. Look, Gonzalez now 39 clear to Moreira. What a session.
Went down. Barry Baltus had the bit between his teeth. He needed another lap or two, but yeah, what a performance from him.
We don't get enough roly-poly celebrations there, but someone's had one alongside Celestino Vietti. Another win for the VR46 Academy as Vietti celebrates here. We'll have all the reaction and a chat with our winner when we come back from the break.
Well, there we go. Celestino Vietti is the winner. And I hope everybody enjoys the addition of the points on our timing screens. We're going to try and implement that across all classes now that we've been able to do it. It's just that the negative space that was left on the screen was kind of bugging me. So trying to give you at home the most information possible to cover the racing action. So fingers crossed we've got that for you as well here today. Checker flags out then. Celestino Vietti is victorious from Barry Baltus, Daniel Holgado, Diego Moreira, Senna Aegis, Manuel Gonzalez, Aaron Canet, David Alonso, Tony Albino and Isaac Guevara is the top 10. Albert Arenas in 11th, Daniel Munoz in 12th, Ivan Ortola 13th, Amon Sasaki 14th, Alonso Lopez goes 15th, Jake Dixon in 16th, just outside the points-paying positions, down 7 places from where he started. Zonta van der Gerberg is 17th, Philip Salak 18th, Marcos Ramirez 19th, and Joe Roberts in 20th. Colin Vine in 21st, Alberto Fernandez in 22nd, Darren Binder in 23rd, Mario Argi 24th, Alex Esquay 25th, Uni Orlando is 26th, Alberto Sur 27th, and out of the race was Cooney, Navarro, and Rietas as well. There are 3 retirements. Gonzalez leads the title now, 227 points to Diego Monrella on 188, exactly the same as Aaron Canet. We've now got a 3-way fight for the title with a few races to go in this year's standings. That already is an interesting sort of side note to try and raise back up upon about what we could be seeing in Moto2 and Moto3 throughout the ending of this season. It's a nice charge in total. It's a nice run-up that we could be experiencing. But Moto2, I don't want to say it delivered, but it had an exciting end, and I think a challenging end, which was critical. Let's head back over, though, to TNT and rejoin Gav, along with Michael.
Welcome back to Misano, where a local man is celebrating victory in the Moto2 race. Just brought it home in the end ahead of the charging Barry Baltus for Celestino Vietti, just as he did in the Emilia-Romagna race here 1 year ago, celebrating success in front of our home crowd. A brilliant ride from the off, took the lead right away on the first lap. I would say he didn't look back, but I expect he was getting a bit nervous on that last lap.
Yeah, I think he probably thought it was all covered, and then all of a sudden the gap started to come down rapidly, and he had it up the ante. It was a controlled race. I want to say start to finish. It looks like
Manuel Gonzalez. I'm just looking at his sleeves. He's pulled the zips up on his sleeves. Is that an arm pump issue, maybe?
It could be. He definitely looks in some discomfort as he gets off the bike. Yeah, you see, visor up, leather zipped down on the chest, and then the arm zipped up. They definitely not a happy man on his in-lap.
This was how it was with a lap to go, and Manuel Gonzalez, just wonder if he was having an arm issue. He did struggle, he was struggling, but we thought that was tired, didn't we, in a couple of corners. But I do wonder, you see that, don't you, when a rider unzips their forearm. He couldn't, he said, I've got a problem with his shoulder, and he couldn't brake. That was what he said.
Yeah, obviously in some discomfort there. It didn't look like the normal attacking Manny Gonzalez in those last laps, giving best to teammate Sene just at the end. His tyre did look quite okay from the overhead shots we've seen earlier, but yeah, still okay championship-wise. Give away a few points to Diogo Moreira, but not a disaster by any means.
Well, Celestino Vietti gets his first win of the season. Barry Baltus still to rack one up, another second place for him.
5th one of the season. He's going to be chasing that win, and it's coming, no doubt. After performances like that today, and obviously the season he's having, Barry Baltus cementing himself as one of the top runners in Moto2. Currently 4th in the championship, and looks set to cement that position.
And for Vietti, first win of the year, that makes him our 10th different winner in Moto2. That is the first time that has ever happened. We had 9 in the first year of Moto2 in 2010. Tony Elias winning the championship. We had 9 last year. But 10 different winners in a season.
Baltus set to make it 11 before we get to Valencia.
Yeah, well, the point is, MotoGP have to pick out of this crop, don't they? And that's why this is the hardest class to win in, because you've got 10 different winners in 16 races.
Yeah, you've got so many riders capable on any given weekend. You turn up, get the setup dialed, everything works, you enjoy the track, and all of a sudden you are the man to beat. Celestino's just showed that this weekend at home. He's at one with the track, with the bike. Bosco Oscuro works around here, always has done over the years, and he's got top honours today.
You're obviously listening to us. The graphic coming up there. Roberto Locatelli asking for his own kiss there from Barry Baltas. Oh, Celestino Vietti can enjoy that one. And Luca Boscoscaro taking the team's first win of the year. You know, when they've challenged for the championships over recent seasons, the expectation is high, isn't it, inside that squad?
Yeah, definitely. You've seen the frustration with Luca Boscoscaro yesterday to miss pole, but obviously made up for it today with a race victory.
Diogo Moreira came back in the end. We have these mid-race lulls, don't we, for a few riders, and again, I'm assuming it's all to do with the tyre management of, you know, finding the level of your tyre and then realising when it comes to the last stage you actually have more than the others have.
Yeah, having something to fight with at the end. Everyone's went for the super soft today. It seemed the safe option, but obviously not working for everyone over the complete race distance.
And that super soft is the development.
Yeah,
it's a development tyre, isn't it? But it's almost one step softer than you think's possible, almost like a qualifier.
Yeah, that's typically what it was designed to be in World Superbike, and then they've evolved it into a Moto2 specification, and it works good here in race trims, good for qualifying, good for time attack mode. But yeah, it's an impressive tyre from Pirelli.
It's getting softer and softer, aren't they, all the time? What I think about whenever I watch Pirelli here in World Superbike is what it's going to do to MotoGP. When we get to MotoGP, all bets are off about who's going to manage the tyres there. Danny Olgado fought staunchly and bravely today, and another podium to his account.
Danny, what a great week you've had. Victory last time out, backing it up with a podium here, but that looked like a real tough one to manage. How do you feel at the end of it?
Yes, very happy with my podium. After the win in Valencia, this was positive for me because now we have a good performance after the summer break. Yes, very happy with the race. It was very difficult because Vietti was really fast in the first lap, in the first 10 laps. Was amazing.
You get that feel
but in the end,
it
was a bit difficult for me because the rear tire was destroyed. But no problem because I have a good pace during the race, during the weekend. I am very happy with my podium. This is so positive for me and for the team. Thank you all.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Did he say winning Valencia? Is that a premonition perhaps for Danny Olgado? He is from down in Alicante, part of the Valencian community. So I wonder if he's projecting, manifesting for the last race of the season.
Yeah, manifest indeed. He's manifested a quality rookie season in Moto2, and you wouldn't doubt him to deliver at home later in the season. He'd be looking forward to these flyaway events and keeping his current run of form. He looks so good on that Calix machine.
You mentioned because of the left-handers aren't many around here. It must have been a cold tear, and actually we've seen that, haven't we, with really soft Pirelli tyres, that they have this kind of effect.
Yeah, it's weird. They need more temperature to work the softer option.
It baffles me, fries my tiny mind, as does Barry Baltas' performance today. He looks proud, and so he should be of second.
Barry, what a brilliant ride. Your pace was phenomenal in those closing stages. Do you feel like you just needed one more lap to get Celestino?
Well, super happy to be back here in the front in the Parc Fermé. Feel amazing in the home GP for the team, and they deserve it, this podium, also this victory. But well, second is already pretty good. I missed some time in the beginning of the race with some fight, and then I recovered all the race, and yeah. It was really hard, but really happy to take this 20 points before the overseas race. And like always, I like to dedicate the race to my podium to someone. And in 10 days, a birthday from my father. So this one is for you, Papa, and see you in Japan.
Brilliant ride, well done.
Thank you.
Great touch, isn't it, from Barry Baltas? I'm sure that win's not too far off. With that kind of pace at the end of the race, the only rider apart from Moreira down into the 35s.
Exceptional. Yeah, so impressed with Barry Baltas this season, and once again today he is proving his mettle. Yeah, I look forward to seeing him have a proper championship tilt next year, but he's delivering everything that's asked of him from the Fantic Racing team.
Yeah, and there've been ups and downs this year, haven't there? There've been fits and starts, but every time he has come back.
Always bounces back, always strong, always a fighter in their race as well. Yeah, it's good to see him develop as the season's gone. He's matured.
Well, Celestino Vietti, he's had his chances this year. Remember in Thailand, he was battling with Gonzalez and cleaned out by Senna Aegis. In Argentina, he was on the podium. He was back on the podium in Austria when he looked strong. Finally, Chele can celebrate success, and no better place for Vietti to do it than here at home in Misano. Let's hear what he has to say to Jack Appleyard down there.
Celestino, what a brilliant ride. Dominated it from start to finish. You've been victorious here before, but after the journey you've been on with Boss Oscuro this year, how special is this win?
Really super happy. We work really hard the last races to improve and close the gap, and every time I do something in qualify to don't achieve what we can do, but now we do a really great weekend every session on the top, so really happy for me, for the team. Now it's time to be consistent, but yeah, we have to enjoy here. A lot of people come here to support me, so really thanks to everybody, and this one is for my grandfather.
Congratulations.
Fantastic day today for Celestino Vietti. He wanted to keep that going from last year, but a fantastic weekend, crucially, across the sessions, and he was able to, you know, put his bike up there and do what he does around this circuit. He was splendid today.
Yeah, splendid. You know, like obviously for me, you know,